What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay, and welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, what's poppin'? And if you've been before and returning for more how we living, how we living, how we living. Today, I am bringing y'all a different type of video to my channel. Today, we are gonna be going over how I make my Sims. Because let's be honest, y'all male Sims need some help. Nah, I'm just playing. But I was gonna do a male and a female Sim, however, I noticed that a lot of women say that they are unable to make male Sims, or they end up having the same facial features, or they all look the same and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over how I make my male Sims, and I will be going ahead uploading both of these Sims that I create today onto my Patreon. I will also go ahead and include any of the CC creators or modders that I use in my video in the description below via my Tumblr. So if y'all would like to see my master list of all my CC that I have in my game, from creators to mods, you go ahead and check that out on the link below. Before I get started into anything dealing with the sim itself, just for cast alone, there are a couple of things that I use that I want to bring to your attention. First thing being the control position mod by Northern Siberian Winds, and this mod just basically keeps your Sims still and not moving while you're trying to create them. It is kind of hard to see how you really like something when your Sim is consistently moving about. So in addition to that, I do use Vixated's Cast Light Front Glow and the light gray background. Before we get started on anything, the first thing that I like to do is I click my die down at the bottom left, because I like for my Sims to be randomized. So y'all gotta see the vision. Y'all gotta see the vision. He looks like this now, but I promise it won't be this bad when we're done. This is a Sim that I'm gonna go with because this Sim looks like he has like generic features that would be easy to work with and, you know, make a decent Sim. So the next thing we're gonna do is remove everything from the Sim. I'm talking hair, eyebrows, you know what I'm saying, facial hair, clothes, shoes, taking all that stuff off. I find it less distracting when your Sims don't have anything on their body that's conflicting with like the color of their hair and stuff. It allows you to choose what you want to choose without having those other features distract you. So let's go ahead and get all of that shit off of the Sim. All right, so we've got everything off of our Sim, including our eyebrows, and you know, our Sim is in his base state. Before I move on to the next thing, I do want to just apologize in advance if I say anybody's name wrong as far as creators or modders. My apologies now, because I have a way of butchering up names. But moving forward, I do use the default underwear by Scandy Sim. Has many different swatches on there that you can choose from, many different patterns. I just go with the generic basic black pattern for my male and my female Sims. Female Sims have on the black bra or black panties. The males just have on the black boxers. Before we really dive into making the Sims as far as choosing his genetics, you know, and all of that stuff, I do like to use a Sims 4 character generator. What this does is it kind of just gives you a baseline of what the Sim is gonna have or what they should be, their traits, their aspirations, and you know, all that good stuff. However, I do use it very loosely because there are some things where I like what it's saying for one Sim, but there are certain things that I'll change. So I don't make this like my end all be all, but I do kind of use it as like a base of what I want that Sim to be. All right, so here we have, it says your Sim is a male Sim, the initials are RY. Your Sim's aspiration is love, soulmate, and their traits are Slav, vegetarian, and gloomy. They have a low brash voice and the creepy walk style. Your Sim has thin weight, tan skin, medium light brown hair, amber eyes, and large lips. They also have an average butt, flat chest, average shoulders, and large foot. Your Sim has 3 piercings, large nose, large ears, diamond-shaped head. Don't wear makeup, attracted to female Sim's sporty fashion style. The rest is up to you. So I'm gonna use this, but we're not gonna use everything. So like, for example, we'll keep the initials. So we're gonna go ahead and put R and Y in the first and last name box. Also change his pronouns to he, him. Aspiration is love, and the soulmate. Traits, Slav, vegetarian, and gloomy. And typically I won't really too much use the traits, but I'm gonna use the traits this time, and the reason why is because it kind of conflicts with what his overall goal is. Like, he wants to find his soulmate, but he has all these horrible traits, and with him having all those horrible traits, it can make it hard. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna choose it. We're gonna choose it, and maybe over time, this person their traits. Now, of course, when it comes down to the drop, I'm not gonna give him these traits to y'all. This is just for my gameplay and what I could see him doing to my save file or being like in my save file. So I will go ahead and upload different traits with this sim whenever I upload him for y'all to Patreon. But these are the traits that I'm gonna go with because I just want to see how it plays out. Another one of the things that I want to mention that I use in CAS is more traits in CAS by The Pancake, Lifetime Aspirations Reworked by Neat Coffee for that, and the 100 Traits Pack, Higher CAS Story, Instant CAS Stories by Chingy. In order to run those mods by Chingy though, you will need the custom preference mod by Zerbu. Those are some other mods that I use within CAS in addition to the more CAS columns, which provides me 6 columns instead of the usual 2 that you get. So now that we got all that stuff figured out, let's go ahead and start making this sim. So the first thing I'm gonna do is choose a skin tone. So whenever I go for skins in the game, I typically go more towards the neutral skin tones for my sims. I like the way that they look with my G shade. I like the way that they look in game. I do use the Lamatee's Bare skin tones to give me more skin tone variety, more options, more realistic, skin tones. So I would recommend to use that, mod to give you more skin tones in your game. But it said that he had a tan skin tone, so to me, I'm just gonna go with something like right here in this area. And it's probably not tan, but I don't give a damn. This one's cool. This one's cool. So we'll go with this one. So after choosing a skin tone, the next thing that I like to do is I like to randomize the features. Before I go ahead and randomize the features, I am going to go ahead and just dive into each category right quick just to kind of show y'all what creators I use. So I do use a lot of Northern Siberian Winds for eyes, obscures, Miko, and SIMS. Those are like my go-to when it comes to my eyes. As far as the noses go, I do use a lot of different creators for noses, but it's all the same creator typically. So what I mean by that is like I'll use Northern Siberian Winds. Those are my go-tos. Poyo is my go-to. Obscures is my go-to. Evoxer, Peachy Fairy, and SIMS, of course. SIMS, if y'all don't have them in your game, definitely recommend y'all go ahead and get SIMS, man. Definitely recommend SIMS. Lips. As far as lips go, I do have a decent amount of lips, and I feel like honestly all of the lips that I have, I just kind of shuffle through, see which one looks good, and that's when I go with. I have a lot of creators in here. I got some Northern Siberian, I got some Simtone, I got some Obscures, I got some I don't even know who this is, I can't even read it. I got them. These, I'm not sure who these are by either, but we do have this selection of options of lips that I don't really use because sometimes depending on what they look like, they can clash with the sim and their nose and stuff. So I don't really use these too much, but my go-tos are definitely my Northern Siberian, my Simtone, and my Obscures. As far as my ear presets, I don't have that many. I typically use the same ones, whether it be Northern Siberian Winds, Lumia, or just these regular base game presets, one of the two at the bottom, depending on how the sims look and what I'm going for. So the thing that I like to do after choosing my skin tone is randomizing my features. I randomize my features 5 times because for me, that is how I'm able to get my sims to be different and to have different looks and to not have the same face. So I'm going to randomize these 5 times. If I don't get something decent by the 5th time that I feel like I can work with, then I will randomize again until I do get something that I feel like fits this sim. So let's go ahead and do that right quick. All right, so now that we have all of his presets randomized and we have everything set up how we want it, I am going to start creating my sim. So I do have a lot of sliders in my game. In addition to putting the links down for all of the CC and stuff that I say in this video, I will also go ahead and include a separate zip folder of all of my sliders that I have in my game that I use to create my sims. You probably have some already if you already have sliders in your game, or maybe one of them is new to you. I don't know. But I will go ahead and include a zip file inside of the downloads folder on the Patreon post. So first thing first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify the jaw. I always start off with the jaw first because once I get the jaw and I get the face structure, then I'm able to start capturing everything else that I want. So first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and go into detail edit mode, and I'm going to pull the jaw out, typically because men typically have we don't really have a round face, like our jaws typically stick out a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna use that, and I'm just gonna bring the jaw, and I'm basically just gonna be playing around with different stuff until I get a face to look like how I want it to look. So his chin looks fucked up, so we'll go ahead and bring that back. All right, so now that we have, this is fine for me. Like, as far as the jaw and everything, this is cool. I could deal with this. I'm gonna put his face down a little bit, And I'm gonna bring his eyes. I honestly don't feel like I need to mess with either. I'm gonna bring these lips up. I don't like for that space between the lip and the chin to be too long or be too open. So I'm gonna do it like that. Yeah, this is cool. I bring that back in a little bit. Now, one of the things that I like to do for my Sims, I don't like my Sims to have like a huge upper lip. I like for their bottom lip to be bigger than their upper lip. So I like to do this. And just from that alone, I really didn't have to do much because the presets were pretty decent. As far as his nose goes, though, I do want to make one minor adjustment to his nose. I do want to bring his nostrils down just a little bit. And I'm going to that bridge area. I want to bring that down some too. So the next step for me is going into the skin details. Now, I do have a lot of skin details in my game. And because of that, I do like to organize it, because if I don't, then I will get confused on what I have where and end up deleting something if I choose something in that same category. And to prevent myself from overlapping within the same category for skin details, I do use the Tidy Cast Organizers by Vixated. And it just helps you stay organized to let you know what you have on in one section to prevent you from putting on something else in the same section and deleting what you already had on. So for example, you have the forehead creases here. So once I choose something from here, it will tell me when the next area that I can put something on is. So now I can go down to mouth crease, and I know anything that I choose before mouth crease will also fall in the same category as the forehead crease. So I don't want to choose something in that section. As far as for this sim, I don't have a process for this. I kind of just throw on whatever I feel like throwing on. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. We'll probably use this one, and I'll probably go here. I'll probably go here with it. Yeah, I'll go there with it, and then we'll go to the mouth crease. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw on different skin details to the Sims, and I will see y'all when I'm done to show y'all what I did use. All right, so of all the details that we had, this is what I ended up coming up with for his face. I'm gonna go through the skin details right quick about all the ones that I chose. So I chose the West Skin, the full body by Northern Siberian Winds, and I put it to the second one on the third column. For the next detail, I did go ahead and use the Golly Ha Ha Chiseled Cheek Contour Overlay, and it is just to go ahead and give a more general masculine appearance and provide that square effect. I did use the first swatch, so that's it on that. For the next category, I did go ahead and use the Little Details by Nasuri. And this is just a bunch of different swatches that do different things. For the first swatch that I used, it insinuates the forehead a little bit more. In the next category, we have these face shadows by Sims 3 Melancholic. And I like these because it gives a little bit more depth to the Sims for me, but I typically go for the one that's in the middle. And as y'all can see, the more you choose to the left, the heavier the shadow is. I normally go for like the third one. There's not too much, it's just a little bit, but it's just enough to where it brings out those, under the eyebrows and underneath the nose. It just kind of enhances that stuff a little bit. Next, we have these nose shaders or nose masks by Catverse. There's many different versions. This one is probably my favorite one. The other ones are good as well. I do recommend all of them if you have them. It's to kind of give your Sims a different look to their nose. But I went ahead and went with this first one that I have, and it just kind of insinuated on the lower portion of the nose where the nostrils and the nose tip are. Next, I went ahead and used this lip tint by Lumia, and it kind of just gives you more realistic lip tones for your Sims, or like the two-toned if you wanted to. But yeah, it just gives you more realistic lip colors for your Sims. And then lastly, I do have these body masks by Sims 3 Melancholic, and I just use this generic regular one right here, and I'm pretty sure that I chose that one. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lighten it up a little bit because the lighter version matches his skin tone more. But yeah, those are all of the skin details that I use on this sim. Now you do have these other categories over here too: teeth, brow details, cheek details, eye and mouth. And it just kind of gives you a little bit more enhancement to what you already have on your sim. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go to the teeth category and just make sure his teeth don't look crazy. And just based off of this picture, I can see that he has normal looking teeth. So, you know, ain't none of these shark teeth going on and none of that stuff, all that good stuff. But my go-to is Mellow Sims for the teeth. I don't know, I just prefer them. I like them. They are nice. Golly Haha does have some nice teeth as well. Brow details, I really don't pick nothing in here unless I'm choosing an older sim that I'm gonna put these overlays on to kind of give them a little bit more facial lines and such. But I really don't use nothing in this category. Cheek detail, in this category, I do use the definition overlay. And again, just something with mini swatches, but it just gives you different definition on the face of the sim. So to give y'all an example of what I mean, you have this one for here, but then you go here, you can kind of like see little subtle changes in the definition and like the certain like features of the face. Like that one just kind of enhanced like this area right here a little bit more. But yeah, it's just different. It just gives you different enhancements, and I actually like that one, not gonna lie. Yeah, we'll keep that one on. It just gives you different enhancements for your sims, like facial structure and stuff. Eye details, if I don't put any of these in my skin details, then I will go ahead and put them in here, but there's not really much to that either. I used to use this on every sim that I had. I don't know, I just liked it. It is by Sim Mandy. It is her Spotlight version 2. But yeah, I used to use it on every single sim, but I haven't used it in a while. And I still like the way that my sims turn out. Last but not least though, we have the lip details. Now when it comes to the lip details, my favorite go-to are my Northern Siberian. I used to overkill this right here. I don't even know who this is by, but I used to overkill this. Now, I typically just go to my lip details, and if I'm okay with the lips that the sim have, then I'll just go ahead and add details to the lips. And again, something with different swatches, different colors, different shades, just different looks to them. But they also have this in this form. So if you wanted to just change the entire lip itself, you can choose on one of these lip shapes down here and it will do the same thing just in that lip shape. So for example, that'll be his lip shade if I were to move it. Just to kind of give you an example, this is what it would look like. And of course, you can just go ahead and pick a different shade that you want. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with this. And I'll probably just go with this version. And that is the end for this category. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to the makeup category. And this is where I give my sims their contacts or eyelashes, any lip tones if I don't give it to them in the other category where it says mouth. I do all that here. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the eyes, and my go-to eyes that I love for my sims are by Marigold. I will utilize my SIMS 3 Melancholic or my contacts up here, but my go-to is my Marigold. And if y'all see me zoom out a lot, it's because I like to see what my sims look up close, but I also like to see what my sims look like from afar. Like if I'm looking at them from my game, since I'm not technically gonna be right up in their faces when I'm like playing the game. So that's why I zoom out a lot when I'm creating my sims to see what their overall full view will look like. Moving on to the lips, sometimes I like to stack the lip color. And what I mean by that is in the skim detail category, we chose one of the dual tones by Lumia. But Northern Siberian Winds also has this lip color shader right here too. And sometimes I'll come in here and I'll just kind of see if I can double up on the lip color to see if there's one that matches it a little bit better, or if the best version I had was the one that was on there for him. Because of the lip tone that I chose, it's not that many options, and that's cool. So we'll just go ahead and leave it as it is and just stay here with it. I don't really use anything in here for males, but for my females, I typically use my Fixated highlight, or I'll use the SIMS 3 Melancholic highlight as well, one of the two. Just depends on the vibe of the sim that I'm trying to give. My go-to eyelashes that I use on every single male sim that I have, I never change it up, is gonna be the Sims version 6 eyelashes. And they just look the most natural. They look the best to me. They look the most calm. There's not like too much going on. It's just normal, but these are my go-to eyelashes for males. After doing all of this in here, I then move to the beard. Beard go-tos. My beard go-tos are Vega Sims, has some W beards, Volkstone, new creator, amazing beards. Khadija 551, Golly Haha, Bob Newbie, Those are my recommendation for beards. As far as his beard goes, I'm imagining that he's on the younger side of the house. He's still figuring out life. So I don't want him to have nothing where it's too heavy. I think like a very subtle, like maybe mustache, maybe a little goatee or something would be like calm for him and his vibe. So as far as his beard goes, I feel like this is one we're gonna go with. I feel like this doesn't make him look too old, but also kind of keeps him looking a little bit young. This is one of those moments where I am gonna use that site because it did say that the hair is a medium or light brown. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this to probably be, I'll probably put it to be that brown. I know that's not the lightest of browns, but I'll probably just put it to be that one. You know, that's cool with me. And then moving on next, I'm gonna go into his hair and see what kind of hair I want to give him. So he does have a sporty fashion style. Now with that, I imagine that he likes to do a lot of running, a lot of like outside, activity. And with that, I feel like he would want his head to kind of be like a little bit lighter on some shit, you feel me? So we'll probably go for like a short, like some waves or something, like a shortcut. My favorite hair creators for male Sims is, as y'all can see, Khadijah. I got a lot of C Productions in here. Johnny Sims, Fashion Simster has some dope stuff. Sit Global, Volkstone, Sims, Ahu, Sims Trouble, Ebonics, Batty Sims. All of these are like good hair creators. As far as him and the hair that we're gonna choose for him, we're just gonna kind of just go through the list and just see what we find. This is the hair that I have decided to go with for the sim, and I think that it fits the style that I envision for him. So yeah, this is the hair that we choose. And last but not least, the eyebrows. The reason why I do eyebrows last is because if you can get your sim looking how you want them to look without the eyebrows, then the eyebrows will just enhance what they already look like. So that's why I do my eyebrows last after I do everything else. And it's kind of like that missing piece to the puzzle. So yeah. Eyebrows, I can't tell y'all who I got eyebrows in here from because I do have the color slider mod and there it takes away any icon for eyebrows. But I do know that I have a lot of Praline Sims. I do have a lot of Simsy Melancholic. I do have a lot of Twisted Cat. Those are my go-to creators that I can think of off the top of my head that has eyebrows. But again, I will have that master list, and anybody that I have in my game, it will be organized for y'all to be able to see who and what it is. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and choose the eyebrows. I have a ton of eyebrow options. I'm just gonna go ahead and choose one, and I will be back when I am done. All right, so these are the eyebrows that I went ahead and went with for this sim. Yeah, I'm not sure who the creator is, but of course, all of the CC for this sim will be included inside of the CC folder. But this is our sim. This is our sim. This is our final product. This is what our sim will look like. All right, now that we have made it past, his facial features, skin details, and all that stuff, I am gonna go ahead and move on to his body presets and the clothes and stuff. However, I am gonna kind of speed this part up because I don't want this video to be too long. I do plan on making another sim for y'all, and I do plan on including that in the video. So going into the body presets, I don't have that many male body presets in my game, but I do use a lot of Dumb Baby, Know the Siberian Winds, Gali Haha, BTTB 7 and 6, and the Vibrant Pixels. Those are like my go-to when it comes to body presets. I don't want to change his because I like his body preset that he has now. I think that is perfectly fine, especially for what the generator said he is. But there are a lot of presets in here that give different athletic looks to him. I definitely recommend that you check out those creators and you download those presets and just kind of check them out for yourself, play around. But I also recommend for you to get a preset remover. Gali Haha has one, as y'all can see. And it does work perfect in case you get a preset that you don't like and it's not going away. You can just click that preset remover and it will take that preset completely away. But yeah, those are my go-to body presets. I don't really put body hair on my Sims Anything for the body that I have, I typically put on already in the skin details, so I don't have to put on anything else for these Sims. So I don't typically use these that much because the hairs that I do use come with them already. But if your Sim's hair does not come with sideburns and you still want to give him sideburns, then you can go ahead and use the Praline Sim sideburns right here. It counts as a beard in the skin details, but it does also come in the body scars. And it's just something to add to your Sim to give it a little bit more realism when it comes to the haircuts and whatnot. But other than that, I really don't deal with too much in this category unless I'm going with like tattoos and stuff. As far as clothes for the Sims, my go-tos are, to me and my style of what I like for my Sims. When it comes to like streetwear and stuff, I typically go for like Rated, Olympian, Bjorn, Decade, Poppin', Blueprint, Casanova. Yeah, that whole little family right there. Like those are my go-tos when it comes down to streetwear for my Sims. If I'm going for a more like dressed up, like professional, or like a more like a casual type of wear, then I'm gonna go ahead and go for my G3, which is Gorilla, or I call him 3-time, fire ass name. But yeah, I'll go for G3. Complex Sims has some good stuff too. If you're looking for another streetwear creator, I will also say Ahu. Some other creators that I would like to mention are also Adrian Pastel, Sente, and Chow. Those are some really good creators as well from Mel CC. And another one of my favorites, KK Sims. KK Creations, same person, amazing shit. I love everything that they put out. And So. Those are also some good creators. But moving on again, because I don't want the video to be too long. So the random Sim generator said that the Sim would have a sporty fashion style. And with that, I would imagine that he likes to dress in a fashion sense that he feels very comfortable. He doesn't like to have on clothes that are like too dressed up. He just likes to be vibed and be chilled out and be comfortable. So I imagine that he would be like a personal trainer. And with that, I imagine that he's probably wearing fitness clothes for the majority of his time, because he's either going to work. If he's not at work, he's at home chilling or working out himself. So I'm going to go ahead and find him something to wear, and I will be back with y'all in a second. All right, so this is the fit that we ended up going with. I know it's like really basic and straight to the point and simple. However, again, he is a sporty fashion person, so he wouldn't have nothing too extravagant. But also when it comes down to males, at least speaking for myself, I am very simple. I like simple colors. I don't like anything that's too bright, anything that's too extravagant. I like very chill, relaxed colors. So I like very neutral earth tone things. A lot of males, we typically wear the same colors. We wear blacks, whites, grays, navies, greens. We'll throw a pop of color in there every once in a while, but typically our general fashion sense is just basic, simple colors. Nothing too crazy. I know when I go to the club, I like to blend in with the background. I don't like to be spotted out. I don't like to be seen. I like to just kind of fade into the back and just observe what's going on around me. And that's what I go for when I dress my male Sims. A lot of my male Sims are dressed as I dress IRL, but I think I'm gonna actually change his shoes. I think I like these better. If we can find something that match, we go with these. Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and change the shoes to these. But yeah, we dress really simple. But this is gonna be his fit. I'm not gonna do all the fits because we'll be here forever. Another thing that I like to do in my game whenever I'm creating townies for my game is I will copy their everyday outfit that I give them to whatever category it can fall into. So for example, if I gave him an outfit and it matched for his club wear as well, then I'm copying that for party as well. Or if I gave him an outfit and it matches for his party and his hot weather, I'm gonna copy that to hot weather and his party. And you get the point. So like for this one, I can copy this one to his athletic wear because it's gym stuff. It's sporty fashion, it's athleisure. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this to his athletic as well. And it works because it prevents you from sitting here giving everybody an outfit, having to spend X amount of time with these casts. At least for me, I hate casts. Anybody will tell you I will make a Sim, but I hate putting the Sim on clothes. It's the number one thing I hate the most. So if I can make something, or if I could do something that's gonna make it easier for me to get out of cast faster, I'm gonna do it. And copying these outfits to other categories, make that shit possible. Yeah, this is gonna be his fit that I'm gonna go ahead and give him, that I will also give to y'all as well. Some other little things that I want to point out that I like to do for my Sims to kind of give a little bit of realism is I will give my Sims, you know, fingernails. These are by Magic Bot and they have different swatches. So I would just go ahead and put these on and then try to find a swatch that match. For me, I use the same swatches because my skin tones kind of like play off each other. So I already have this laid out. I can give him something like this and it already has that realistic look to him. Another set that I do like to use too sometimes are going to be these. These came with, I believe, the base game, or they came with the werewolf pack, one of the two. But these are also some good ones to use if you want to add a little bit of realism to your Sims as well. They have different swatches, different versions. They also have a shorter version right here that you can also put for your male Sims, but you know, I'm actually put them on him. But yeah, this is our Sim. And that is my process when I am making my Sims. Something very simple, very easy, quick, and straight to the point. We do need to give him a name though. We do need to give him a name. I am very big on using my name randomizer, but I'm going to go ahead and look up some R names right quick to see what name we want to give him. All right, so I ended up going with Ryan Young. But yeah, this is my process for when I am making my Sims. This is my thought process. This is what I do. This is how I create my male Sims for my game. And I am going to go ahead and do one more Sim for y'all. I'm not going to go so in depth because it is just another male Sim. So a lot of the things that I've already mentioned will also apply to this next Sim. But I will go ahead and stop step by step showing y'all what I've done following my process that I gave to y'all. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and add a new Sim. All right, so we have our random Sim and we have our random Sim generator. Let's go ahead and generate somebody right quick. All right, so here's our next Sim that we're gonna make. It says your Sim is a male Sim. The initials are ZM. Your Sim's aspiration is love, serial, romantic. Their traits are good, non-committal, and vegetarian. They have average lifted voice and a snooty walk style. Your Sim has an average weight, dark brown skin, short and blonde hair, light blue eyes, and thin lips. They also have flat butt, large chest, broad shoulders, and a small shoe size or foot size. Your Sim has 0 piercings, average nose, average ears, and oblong head shape. They don't like to wear makeup. They are attracted to female Sims and have a preppy fashion style. Grain of salt, guys, grain of salt. All right, this base facial features wise really is not that bad. So let's go ahead and just use this as a base. I'm gonna go ahead and do his initials, Z and M, he, him. And then of course, we're gonna go ahead sexual orientation. I am gonna change his aspiration only because we did do something else with love for the last Sim that we created. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna go ahead and go with, I imagine that somebody that has like a preppy fashion style, which means that they have money. So I'm gonna give him something related to business. So let's say he wants to be, we'll just say he wants to be fabulously wealthy. We're gonna change the vegetarian trait since the last time we may have the vegetarian trait. But being that he is wanting to be fabulously wealthy and he's probably gonna be in the business career, I'm gonna give him the ambitious trait. I still will get a non-committal, and we will probably call it for his traits after that. I do recommend when you're making your Sims to not give them all good traits because then it kind of serves no flaws in your game. Everybody would just be goody two-shoes. I do recommend giving the Sims at least one bad trait at the minimum. One bad trait at the minimum, and you know, just rocking from there. So now that we got all that stuff on the left side figured out, let's go ahead and remove all of his stuff. All right, so I'm kind of gonna go out of order here only because this body is gonna piss me off. So I'm gonna fix his body right quick and then we'll go back into the skin details. Let's just give him a regular one and we'll go back to the rest of it later. As y'all can see, his stuff isn't that bad. It's stuff that we could work with, but as y'all know, I like to randomize my stuff 3 to 5 times. So I'm still gonna go ahead and follow that little process and see what we get. All right, so these are the facial features that we're gonna go ahead and use for the Sim. I did kind of go out of order a little bit because I didn't choose a skin tone first, but it's fine. The thing said that he had dark brown skin. So let's see, which one are we gonna go with? I'm thinking something like this. For dark brown skin, we'll go with this one. We'll go with this one. Now that we have removed everything, eyebrows included, we have chosen the skin tone, and we have randomized his nose, his eyes, his lips. I'm gonna go ahead and start fucking around with my facial features and getting his face to look like I want it to look. And I will see y'all when I'm finished. I forgot to randomize the ears, but don't worry about it. We went ahead and took care of that too, and I am cool with this. I probably will go back and make some adjustments as I start to add on skin details and skin overlays and stuff, just to see what works better with him. But for the most part, I am perfectly fine with what bruh looks like right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my skin details, and I will be right back. All right, so here we are. We have our final face. Y'all did see I went ahead and I modified the shoulders while I was already working on it because it did say he had broad shoulders. I did give him a stomach overlay, chest overlay, because it also said that he had a large chest. So, all right, boom, moving on. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into our makeup category and start adding on our eyes, the eyelashes, and all that good stuff. All right, y'all. So this is gonna be our final product for our sim. As y'all can see, I tried with the blue eyes. I tried with the blonde hair. It's just not typical for African American sims. But I did try to make it work, and it just didn't work. So I just went ahead with random, generic features for the sim, and this is what we ended up coming up with. So this is gonna be our sim. Moving on to the next parts of the tutorial, which will be the body and the clothes. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that stuff out right quick, and I will see y'all when I get done. All right, after like 15 minutes of just going through different swatches to figure out what swatch I wanted to go with for his outfit, this is what I ended up coming up with for his style. And as I told y'all before, this is something that I would copy to one of the other categories. So I feel like this could also go for like his party wear. If he ever wanted to go to like a little, casual backyard party or something, this would work for that type of event. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this to his party outfit as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my little last minute little touches, which is just the fingernails. And we're gonna go ahead and go with these and go with those ones right there. Those fingernails you got to be careful with too, by the way, just because sometimes they will glitch out with the top that the sim has on, and it will leave like a little streak along one of the shoulders. So be careful when using these, but for the most part they typically work really well. I am gonna go ahead and try to throw some glasses in there though. I feel like that would go ahead and add to the preppy style that he's trying to achieve. Easy, right there with it, right there. Can we give him a little necklace too? We got a little necklace we could throw on, bruh. Wake up in the morning, hit my knees, and I pray. I'm gonna die in these Cuban links. My bad. All right, here we go. This is our sim. This is our preppy sim. This is bruh. And this is how I make my sim. We do gotta pick out a name though. For some reason, I feel like he has a name that he hates. I feel like he has a name that he hates, and that's why he tried to like change his appearance. It's his way of trying to beat like the stereotypes of his name. So the name that I went ahead and found when I went and just did a little random Google search, I found Xavier Moore, which to me isn't a bad name. That's not a bad name at all. I don't know why bro would hate his name, but that's just the vibe I get for bro. But yeah, this is bruh, and this is what we're gonna go ahead and go with. But yeah, that's gonna go ahead and conclude this video. I hope that y'all enjoyed my thought process. I hope that y'all were able to learn something if you didn't already know it. And I hope this video helps you in some way, shape, or form. Again, I will be uploading these sims to my Patreon for download, so y'all will be able to have them in your game. If you do use them, let me know, because I would love to see what kind of chaos they create in your save file. Yeah, these are our sims. These are our sims, and I feel like we did a good job. But other than that, I hope y'all have a great day, night, week, or weekend, whichever one comes next, and I'm gonna fuck with y'all. Later.